I'm going to save you years of frustrations because you're going to be able to get clients consistently and predictably, and you're not going to have to rely on social media, sending any code DMs, spending a bunch of money on ads, and really like leveraging these other systems that are a little bit more unpredictable or they take a lot of your energy. We generated over $11 million in sales for our clients in just a few years of us being in business and serving people, and we realized this was the most effective strategy, not just for our clients, but also for ourselves. And it's so crazy, family, because I stumbled across this strategy 100% by accident. And this is actually going to be the most traditional marketing method that you're going to be able to use, but it's something that's going to be so proven. It's going to make so much sense. This is going to be exactly what you need to do, the exact model that you can leverage to build a predictable business that builds a real sustainable business that allows you to grow without draining too much of your time. So most of the time, if you think about like Facebook ads or sending DMs or any of these other methods or creating content, typically you have to put in a lot of work and you're paying with your time or your money. You're implementing these things and you don't get a result immediately in most scenarios, and you still have to pay time and money in order for that to eventually happen, right? But what if I told you there was a strategy that you can leverage where you don't actually pay people until they actually get a sale for you? Now, in the time of AI, right? AI is here. AI isn't going anywhere, and it has completely changed the landscape on how consumers are receiving information, how consumers are buying, and it's also changing a lot of like wackiness that's going on inside of a lot of entrepreneurs' mind right now. And I believe that now people are experiencing shiny object syndrome now more than ever because they can go into their device just in their phone and go back and forth with a business consultant that supposedly has all the answers for you. And this really creates a bad position for a lot of entrepreneurs because they never build a consistent strategy that can actually bring them clients. But I want to give you the strategy that actually changed my life, which is going to be creating partners and affiliates that are going to be able to sell your products for you. Now, this is beautiful because you get to leverage this thing that I call borrowed trust. In today's time in AI and internet marketing and all these things, it is very, very hard to get someone who doesn't know you to immediately trust you and buy from you. But what if you can borrow the trust that they have with someone else? So you might not trust me if I'm trying to sell something to you, but you trust your friend who also had another experience, or you trust your friend who is just literally referring this company to you. Now, I, as a business owner, get to borrow the trust that those people have created with you so that way you can trust me faster in order to buy from me. And the person that made that connection that referred you to me, I pay them a certain amount based on you paying me. That's how simple this method is. Again, this is one of the strongest marketing strategies that have been around forever. When I talk about accounting companies, the financial industry, life insurance, when I think about these huge companies that have grown to be 9 figures, 10 figures, right? $billion companies, they leverage this type of strategy where they build an army of affiliates to sell their products for them. Now, let me give you a real example of how I stumbled across this strategy, and I couldn't believe it because at some point I looked up and I looked back at a conversation that I had with myself as well as my sales rep. And there was a time where we were going through some inconsistent sales. We were growing at this point, we were around like 20 or 30K per month, and we were looking at ways to grow faster. And one of the things that we wanted to do was we wanted to scale past that 100K per month mark. Now, what we were experiencing was we were trying to invest in ads, and the ads were getting a decent return, but they were somewhat inconsistent. It was still enough for us to scale and grow, but it was so inconsistent that we couldn't necessarily trust it to put the whole gasoline on it to get us to 100K per month. It would have been, pretty risky. Well, what ended up happening was people that we were serving, some of our top clients, they came to me and they said, "Hey, Adrian, people are asking me about like my marketing and systems and the things that you do in businesses. And they're like, I don't want to train them and teach them on it. Would you mind coming to my community and teaching these topics?" And I'm like, sure, right? I'm just looking to provide value to my clients, make sure I build a better relationship with them. So I'm like, of course, I can come teach your community. Now, it's so crazy what happened, family. Literally, as soon as I came in and started teaching this community, our sales started to grow. And we're like, yo, what is going on? And so I went to my closer, our sales rep, and I said, hey, what's going on? Like, you're getting paid in fools. Like, these people are paying. And they're like, well, they're coming from these calls that you were doing inside of these communities because they're coming in, they hear you speak, and they trust you so much much because someone brought you in like as an expert. Like they're basically just pulling their credit card out and buying whatever you're selling just because of that trust and relationship you have with that person that had you come speak to the community. What we started to do was we started to become so intentional on building more of these partnerships. And this was one of the reasons that we've been able to drive our revenue. And that's how I'm able to build my business and scale it to where it is today, even though I don't have a ton of followers on social media. I've never went viral on social media. And most of my clients do not come from people seeing my content and DMing me. Most of our revenue in our business are coming from partnerships. We find people who have a pool of people who could be interested in our services. And we essentially create partnerships where we say, hey, we'll pay you $500, $1,000, $1,500 sometimes to refer people to our business. And we're good with it because for us to get those clients without them, we would normally have to spend money on ads. And for us to get a client that pays $1,000, on average, it will cost us $300, $400 to acquire that customer. So we didn't mind. We're like, hey, instead of us paying for ads, how about we take that same revenue and we just pay you for bringing this person to us? And we realized that this was the most powerful strategy that we can leverage. And now what we are doing is we're showing more people how to be more intentional. So that way you don't have to go through the years of frustrations that I went through. Yes, I believe in the other strategies. We still leverage ads. We still use other channels to be able to grow our business. But what we realized after serving over 100 business owners just this year, a lot of people being new entrepreneurs, some being experienced, we realized that helping people be able to go get affiliate partners and go recruit people to sell their services for them was the fastest path for someone to be able to get started. And it didn't just stop there, because guess what? Even if you're an established business owner and you haven't tapped into this channel, you're missing out on so much money in your business, because there are people who are more than happy to sell your services for you. And guess what? Most of those people are going to be the people that you have already served. That's what we figured out, is like, how do we determine who can be potential partners? And I'm going to break this down on the iPad just so you guys can see this in real time and see how do we figure out who can be potential partners that can essentially allow us to sell our services, or they sell our services for us and we give them a percentage of our sales. Let me show you how this thing works, y'all. All right, so let me break down this strategy as simple as possible. And some of you guys know this is literally just called affiliate marketing and partnerships. But essentially the way it works is, it's like there is me, right? So here's me right here. And I essentially, let me give myself some eyes. So I sell a service. And so I'm a person, I'm the business owner, or whatever the case may be. Now, typically the way it works is, if you want to go and sell your products and services, most people go straight to the consumers, right? So they find these people. All right. So typically I will go here, and that is how I will go and make money for my business. Okay. Now, the reality is that these people, they don't know who I am. They don't trust me yet. They might be seeing me for the first time. Reality is that it probably takes some time for me to be able to get this person to buy my stuff. You know it as a consumer yourself. You barely see someone for the first time and you're like, oh, I'm going to go buy their stuff. You're like, who is this person? You might go research it, do some YouTube and things like that. And this is like the traditional way that we're taught, especially like if we're doing things like spending money on ads, we're sending code DMs, we're running webinars and challenges, doing events, like all this stuff, right? And this is okay, right? It's all good. It takes effort to be able to get these people to buy, right? We know that. Now, the way that has worked for us is that we're better off creating 2 or 3 partnerships with people who have influence. And what we found out is that it's very easy to get these people to say yes to sell our stuff for us. And so now, like, this person has massive influence. It was very easy for me to get this person to trust who I was. And now these people all have access to a bunch of people that trust them. And so now I have a system where I essentially recruit people to sell stuff for me. And it's very easy for these people to buy from me because they trust the person who came over. It's better to do this with people who already have the people that you want already in like a consolidated place. This is one of the most traditional marketing methods. Actually, a lot of you might know Russell Brunson. Russell Brunson considers this as like his dream 100. How do you go find people who already have a bunch of people who are willing to pay you? Now, if I want to build trust with these people, I have to be really good at what it is that I say I could do. Like, I have to have evidence that I'm actually good at providing this service, because things can go really, really wrong if you don't do this the right way. Because if I could just go to random people, let's say I'm like new in business and I go to these people and I'm just like, hey, I offer this service, like, can you do it? And you're not like that confident that you can serve these people. Well, these people will end up getting pretty upset, and they're not going to just get upset at you, but they're also going to be mad at these people as well, right? And they're like, yo, you referred these people to me and they weren't good. And these people end up getting upset at you now too. So like, it's just frowny faces all over the place, right? If you're in a place and you're not like confident that you can serve people, you should probably work on getting some case studies first, because in order to get these people to trust you enough to go sell to their people, you got to come with some proof and proof that you could do what you do. All right, now let me break this down into the different type of people. Stay with me, y'all. There's two type of, I would say, partners that we can go after, right? And there's a fish or there is a whale. Now, a fish is going to be, right, someone who is a little smaller. It might not be as many of these people around. These are probably going to be normal consumers. Maybe someone it's that I serve. Maybe it's my brother or sister. You know, it's anybody. Anyone can refer someone to my business, right? And it might not have massive influence, but if I get a bunch of fishes that are selling my products for me, it still can create massive income for my business, and it's still going to create a lot of happy people who are making money from selling my services for me. These are going to be people that you might personally know. Now, what I would suggest for you, especially if you have a level of expertise, I would actually go after these whales, right? And I'm going to try to draw a big whale. Here we go. So the good thing about whales is that whales already have massive influence. If you're someone who's new and getting started off and you have true proof that you can commit your service, you have an ethical business, right? Because you don't want to ruin relationships with people in the midst of all of this. Well, if I go to a whale, like one whale can completely change my life. I'll give you guys an example. I remember there was someone who I was working with and we built them like their system and their funnels and things like that. And they were like, yo, I don't use social media. I already have relationships that I can leverage. And she offered credit repair services. What she did was she went to realtors, she went to dealerships, she went to mortgage brokers. Like she went to these different people who are constantly dealing with people who get denied for credit, and they will refer their people over to her. And she had no social media. She had none of this. She scaled from 0 to 12K per month in less than 60 days. I'll give you guys another example. There's been situations where I've seen people literally be intentional on their affiliate program, and they go out and they can add $50,000, $100,000 per month in their business based on where they are, depending on the influence they have. Now, if you're just getting started off, you can get one connection. You can get one whale that can literally add an extra 3, 4, 5, maybe even 10K per month to your business. Imagine getting a few whales. I'll give you guys another example. A whale for us is we can go to communities and teach. So we might do, partnership webinars with people that are like, hey, we're going to run a webinar to your email list, to your people, and anyone who buys our stuff, you get a percentage of it. That's like another example of being able to do it. Now, let me give you guys another example of if I want to leverage fishes, because they both work, right? Both the strategies work. You just got to figure out what works best for you based on your current situation. If you're just someone who wants to scale like 5 to 10K per month, like you can get one whale, or you can probably get 10 fishes that can bring that to you, right? If you want to scale to 100K per month, like you can go get a massive amount of fishes that can basically go and provide a service. And let's say there's a pool of fishes and you get 100 people who want to become a partner and sell your services for you, right? 100 normal people. Well, if you find that one person who's really good at selling and has a lot of connections of people who want you, this one person can bring you a ton of people as well, right? This is why I believe this is one of the best methods, because if I'm new starting off, or if I'm someone who has been around for a while, there's already a pool of people available who's more than willing to sell my stuff as long as I come correct. I don't want anyone to be doing me a favor. I want you to feel as though if you are helping me sell my products, you can end up replacing your 9-to-5 income, or you can have an extra 5 or 10K per month added to your business by simply making a connection. So for me, in the age of AI, where AI is taking over so much stuff, people are taking courses on their own, and people are going to be craving for relationships and people. This is the best strategy that you can have in your business, irregardless of where you are, because all it does is add into something that you already have going on. I've seen people leverage this to completely scale their business from ground zero, and this is the only method and strategy that they use. So look, family, if you got any value from this, make sure you like or subscribe. This is the first video. The next video, we're going to jump into some more sauce and dive even deeper on this topic, so that way you can leverage this model to be able to grow your business. If you want to figure out how you can work with us for us to be able to manage your affiliate system, we'll install it into your business. We'll manage and track every one of your partners. We'll track out their sales. We'll handle the payouts payouts for you. We'll do all of that so that way you can focus on what it is that you are doing, what you're already working on, and you could just add this additional stream of income to your business. You can find and leverage this hidden revenue. In the description, there's a link for you to be able to apply and get on a strategy call and see if this is a good fit for you. Now, look, family, we are going to drop a ton of more videos with this. Make sure you like and subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next video. Let's go.